Hey everybody, this is Cynic25 here, bringing you another deck profile. This time we are profiling Gladiator Beasts. So this is a really retro deck, and I'm really trying to bring it back, especially with the new support that's coming out in Primal Origins with Andoril. And I feel like it definitely has some potential to be relevant, probably and definitely not Tier 1. But it's a really fun deck to play, and if you're interested in playing Glads, this is probably the best time to do it with the new support coming out. So yeah, this is the deck profile I've come up with. It's a really aggressive deck. It's really proactive, and I just like that. There's a lot of cool things you can do. So going straight in the profile, we got 3 Okari as standard here. It's just a great card. It works off, you can search it via Tenki, you can search it via Proving Grounds, you can search it from the grave via Wolf Bark, you can overlay for Tiger King, it's your main tag engine to tag into something else with a cooler effect like Darius or Bestiari or Request. So this is just literally the best Glad in the deck. It just gets your plays going, and it's just great at 3. So I'm running 2 Prisma. So I originally was running a Hero Lives Prisma build, but I didn't like giving up the life points because I felt like I'm running a pretty offensive variant of Glads, and I just felt like the life points I was giving up was a little bit too much. So I ended up opting for Soul of the Fire Kings with Okari and then normal summoning Prisma, which is basically just as good, but I do have less ways to search Prisma. Eventually this will be replaced with Andoril, so I'm not really too concerned about that. I'm just going to take this out entirely. But it's still pretty good right now. So I mean, you normal summon it, and if you have another Glad on the field, which is actually pretty easy to do with Tensu and Assault the Fire Kings, you immediately just call Bestiari and you tag out for Gazeris. Now, there are actually occasions where you have Bestiari in hand, and then if you can get this onto the field as well, then you actually would call Okari, and then you end up fusing into Gazeris from there. So there's a lot of cool things you can do with it. Like, there's actually been occasions where I've normal summoned Bestiari, and then I had a Wolf Bark, and I got it onto the field via Tensu, and then I actually brought back Okari from that, and was able to make Gazeris. So there's actually a lot of cool little neat tricks you can do with this deck, which is pretty cool. But I'm running 2 Darius, so it's just a great card. It's pretty much, if you tag into it, it's a 1-card XZ, because it chains something from the grave, and you can XZ from there. Or you can even, if you chain back Bestiari, go into Gazeris. So that's pretty cool. 1 Wolf Bark, again, really great in this deck. It brings back your Okaris, it brings back your Bears, and it just makes your XZ plays. Bear, again, I feel like 2 is fine. I didn't want to bring it to 3 because I felt like it's a little bit much. Also, I didn't want the main focus of this deck to be on the Fire Fist. I want it to be on the Glads. So I feel like 2 was fine. I mean, you can easily search it with Tenki, so you're good at 2. 2 Request. This is probably the least useful Glad in the deck, but he definitely does have his utility. He helps you recycle your War Chariots, or if you have like Bestiar in the grave, you want it back in your hand, you could do that. Also, you can overlay with this for Lightning Clover, which is pretty cool. So one cool little trick you can do if you're really interested in blowing up your opponent's field is, let's say you make Gazeris, you run into your opponent, let's say you blow up 2 cards, you tag out from Gazeris and bring back 2 Requests, then you can bring back War Chariot, you can bring back something else, and then you can overlay for Lightning Clover and just blow up your field some more, or blow up your opponent's field some more, which is pretty cool. There's a lot of ways to blow up your opponent's field with this deck, and it's just a lot of fun. And Bestiari is also the best way to do it. You tag into Bestiari, just keep blowing up the field, make Gazeris, blow up the field, so just pretty cool. Murmillo also blows up your opponent's monsters. So it's just tons of ways here to blow up monsters. Between Bear, between Murmillo, between Bestiari, between Gazeris. It's just, there's tons of ways to do it. Again, like I said, I'm running 2 Assault the Fire Kings here. It's just great. It gets out, it's a quick way to get Okari on the field. And if you have Bestiari in hand, which there's tons of ways you can do it with the Proving Ground, it's just an instant Gazeris. So it's pretty cool. As for the searchers, I'm running 3 Proving Ground and 3 Tenki. Now, this is what really makes the deck so consistent. Like, between your 3 Tenkis, your 3 Proving Grounds, between your Assault the Fire Kings, your regular monster count, and then this thing copying either Okari or Bestiari, there's just, this deck has so much consistency. Like, I hardly ever get a bad hand with this deck. And that's what I really like about it. It's just a really consistent offensive proactive deck. I really wanted to opt to really strengthen the main, well, focus of the deck, which is its ability to search as many things as possible. And eventually, once Andoril comes out, which also has a lot of hand-to-field presence, it's just going to make the deck that much better. So that's just really good. 1 Dark Hole, 2 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Book of Moon, 2 Forbidden Lands, which is also pretty cool because it has a lot of utility. So if your opponent attacks you, you can flip this thing over, lower their attack, and get over it, and then you can tag out from a Glad from there. So that's pretty cool. 2 Tensu, which is, this is just, it's one of the best cards in the deck. It just helps you make your plays. It helps you make your XZs, your Gazerises. It's just great. And with all the searching power this deck has, you really want to have that hand-to-field potential, which is where Glads are really transitioning to. And that's when I'm eventually going to bring out Prisma, because this is just like from deck to grave, and I really want to have a really good hand-to-field kind of game plan going on. And again, once Andoril comes out, it's just going to help that even more. 1 Bottomless Trap Hole, 1 Torrential, 2 Trap Stun because you want to have your attacks go through, 1 Compulse, 1 Tension, which is also great. You can search this off your Tiger King and just gives you more. It makes your opponent, scared to attack. Or if they forget about it, you just flip this thing over. You get over their monster and then you tag out with something. 1 Solemn Warning, 2 War Chariot. Now, I had War Chariot at 3 for the longest time, but I feel like I'm sitting pretty comfortably at 2. I side third for really strong effect-based decks. Like, I ended up taking out Compulse for it. But I don't know. I mean, War Chariot's great. I mean, you're going to cycle it with a quest. I'm probably going to bring it back to 3 in the main deck, take out Compulse for it, and go from there. As for the extra deck, running 1 Herc, 2 Gazaris. You never really need more than 2. 2 Tiger King. You go into this thing a lot because it keeps your searching power going with Tenki. It gets your Tensus on the field. Get your Tensons if you need them. It's just a great card. It also stuns effects. 1 Black Ship of Corn, 1 Arc Knight, 1 Ice Beast, 1 Heartland Drago, 1 Diamond Direwolf, 1 Lightning Clover, 1 Maystroke, 1 Deguster Emerald. And this card is actually really good because there are occasions, especially mid to late game, where you have like a lot of monsters in the grave and you're running a pretty low monster count as it is. So you want to have ways to get all your monsters from the grave back into the deck so you can keep the tag engine going because the tag engine relies on having cards in your deck. So Deguster Emerald is really, really good in this deck. It's like a Pot of Avarice. 1 Abyss Dweller, 1 Cowboy. Now it's to the side deck, running 2 Maxi for special summoning based decks like Giragia and Mermail. 2 System Down, 1 Mystical Space Typhoon, 1 Mind Crush for searching decks, which is pretty much everything. 2 Fiendish Chain into War Chariot for, again, really effect central decks. Just bring these back in. 2 Lightning Piercing Mirror for Boojins, 1 Soul Drain for Boojins and Mermails. And 2 Debunk for Mermails and Boojins. So this is all like Boojin and Mermail hate right here. And yeah, this is the deck. I really have a lot of fun with it. It's very aggressive, really proactive. And again, if you're really interested in getting into Glads, now is probably the best time to do it with Anduril coming out in Primal Origins. So yeah, let's bring Glads back, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, and take care.